So I talked a little about this in yesterday's blog post. Did anybody read yesterday's blog post? All right, well, you guys can take a break then. So the Franken course. I had somebody, I should probably ask again, did anybody send me? I had somebody send me a course once, and she had just, she'd been reading the blog for a while, and she finally got some software, so she's really excited, and she emailed me, said, Tom, I built my first course, all excited. She wanted to show me, and she said, I've been reading your blog for years, and I've used every tip that you've ever shared. And sure enough, the blog, or her course did have about every tip I shared. So I joked with her, I said it was less an e-learning course and more like the Rapid E-Learning Blog Museum. Right? She just needed to put little date labels on it. This is the link to this post that I used this effect. And and she got it. I didn't want to hurt her feelings or anything. But the thing is, we call those things like the Franken course. You think of Frankenstein, he looked like a person, but he was just a bunch of people. He was like all your neighbors stitched together, right? But I mean, it's like an arm here, leg there, head, right? He wasn't a real person. He was a cobbled together person. And a lot of times, these e-learning courses that we create have that cobbled together look. Especially when you're doing kind of the hybrid development where you're doing some free form, some form-based stuff. If you're using the Articulate suite, you've got each application is its own standalone application, so it's got its own structure. And then you're basically using PowerPoint to bring those things in there, but then you're bringing in the other application's features, so the player structure and those things. So if you use that default structure, you're going to get this look that looks like pieces pulled together rather than one cohesive course. And then you throw in these other things, right? So you've got the fonts. I always tell people, try to limit yourself to about 9 fonts. No. But you've seen those courses, right? And you might have built those. If it's a curly font, don't use it. It's a good general rule on fonts. You might not be a type expert, but curly fonts probably aren't good. Unless you're using screen beans and something else. No. But you kind of get all these weird fonts in there. And a lot of times people are working on a course and they think, oh, this content's so boring. If only I could have a curly font in here. Then, the curly font combined with the screen bean that I added a tie, because I learned how to ungroup clip art, so I put a tie on the screen bean. And our company logo, right? The screen bean guy's holding a sign with the company logo. Now I've got the curly font. Now the course is really engaging, right? And then you go to the next slide and say, that curly font's so old. I'm going to go to a new font now, right? So you find a new font, you have a new color scheme. I mean, that's how people a lot of times are working, right? You go from one slide to the next, you start making design decisions because this just looks old. Because you've been working on that one slide for like 2 days. So it's old news, right? You just saw a new graphic the next day, you think, I'm going to apply that to the next slide I do. So you get this look where it's just not quite together. It's this discordant look. You have different images, there's some clip art. It's not the same style of clip art. So you've got one style of clip art and another style of clip art. Then you go to a photo. Then you found out how to do photo effects. So you apply some cool, you put this like watercolor effect on the photos. And the person who's going through the course was like, why is the person all smudgy? They were good looking on the previous slide, but they're all smudgy and there's all these curly fonts on the screen.